Opinions expressed on this radio program do not necessarily reflect the views of this radio station.
My friends and I always tune into the Todd Levitt Law Show. Todd is entertaining, informative, and always delivers the goods.
Todd might not tell you what you want to hear, but he's going to tell you what you need to hear. And all you got to do is listen.
Hold on, Todd. Don't let go. It's time for the Todd L. Levitt Law Show.
I will believe you if you say it's true. Girl, you know I need you more than any word spoken. I've seen you before. Turn and walk away. You say you won't come back. It's just a game in a way. We are hoping, yes, and we're praying. This time will be the last time that we will fight like this. This time will be the last time that we will fight like this. Hey!
Welcome to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. Good morning, good evening, and good night. I'm yours truly, attorney Todd L. Levitt, broadcasting and podcasting in the Black Diamond Group mothership in the middle of the mitten in a treacherous, snowy, ice, wet, slick, slippery, wet, nutrient planet Earth field with my good friend, I don't know where I was going with that, guys, with my good friend, Craig Russell, the muscle, the hustle. He's America's favorite nug. Yes, he is the gassiest human I know. He is currently standing in for Pat Sajak on the Wheel of Fortune with my good friend Mike, the Nichols, as his co-host. Wendy Nichols, who is also an attorney. She's currently hosting Celebrity Jeopardy. Craig, the water's wet, the sky is blue. Mike is in studio. And he and I both love you. How you doing, Craig?
I am fan-flippin-tastic, I think. How are you, Todd?
I'm doing great. We have Mike. I mean, this is a unique opening because attorney Mike, the Nichols, is literally sitting right across from us in the studio, albeit he's appearing via, the computer there, but he's still in the studio. Mike, how you doing, Mike?
I just want to say Craig is like a fine wine. He tastes much better than the wine I'm currently drinking.
Is it a Merlot? What is it? P-N-I-O-T? What is that?
Pinot Noir.
Pinot Grigio. Pinot Grigio.
Oh, that's a white wine.
Is that right? Okay.
I'm drinking a Cabernet.
See, and I'm a Chablis.
I'm a Boone's Farm, Central Michigan, 1985-3 for a $5 kind of guy.
Mad
Boone's
Dog
Farm
2020,
there.
Chuck a buck a chuck.
Boone's Farm put on some George Thorogood in the Destroyers back in 1985 and consumed some Boone's Farm. They still sell that, don't they?
Of course they do. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? That and Mad Dog 2020, they sell it all, man. Come on.
Mike, what are you consuming right now?
Kendall Jackson Cabernet Sauvignon. And like I said, it's not as good as Craig. So
Craig is a fine wine.
And all my friends who know me know that when I'm drinking, I'm a much different person than when I'm not.
I can acknowledge that, by the way. I've been around you enough now to know the difference. But you're still a smooth operator, and we hear some music in the background. Is that your lovely daughter playing the piano?
Morgan is having her piano lesson. Can I say when we're taping?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Friday night, a little before 7:30. Her instructor, inimitable Phil Permley arrived shortly before 7:30, and they are right now working on probably something between chopsticks and Chopin, but they're working.
So musically, we've added some class to the show. Normally it's just our 80s rock and roll, like In Excess, like we opened the show with.
This time
Great
will
song.
be
Oh
the
my
first time that
song.
we will.
In Excess, probably one of my top 3 bands when I was a young student at Roscommon High School.
Great.
Yeah, I love In Excess. That's why we chose that group. And again, just a tragedy that we lost the lead singer way too early, guys. Way too early.
Yeah, Michael Hutchins was a national treasure in Australia. They're Australian. Did you know that? In Excess? From
Yes.
Australia?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so.
But listen, we have a huge show because we have the attorney of all attorneys in the studio. And by the way, Mr. Mike Nichols, attorney at law, I have been utilizing the book that you authored for us attorneys on a daily, weekly basis. And once again, folks, if you are interested in hiring Mike or Wendy Nichols or any other lawyers that work at the Nichols Law Firm, East Lansing, Michigan, statewide, 517-432-9000, 517-432-9000, the best of attorneys. Also, big shout out, guys, to John, one of the owners of Snow Snake Ski Golf, off-road tubing. They also have one of those zip lines. For those that live in central northern Michigan, Snow Snake is right off of 127 and Mansiding Road. I've been snowboarding, Mike and Craig, since Jake Burton created the snowboard. I have always been anti-ski. I was at Snow Snake last Saturday enjoying everything that Snow Snake provides customers, and John provided me with a free ski lesson. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah. I hopped on some skis first time, and a young guy, he's a phys ed teacher here in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, Stephen McConnell, was kind enough. He's one of the lead instructors at Snow Snake, along with all the other great instructors there. They do such a great job to provide yours truly with his first ever ski lesson. Eventually, I made it up to chairlift, but the problem was, and I enjoyed it, I prefer snowboarding because my muscle memory for 30-plus years is on a snowboard. Now, Mike, I know you and Wendy and Morgan ski, correct?
Yes, we are skiers, not snowboarders. Wendy told me no more snowboarding. You got to try it once. I think I was in my 40s, and now I'm in my 50s. So
Oh, I thought you were 88.
Like the number of keys in a piano.
as in class of? What are you trying to tell me?
Class of, I'm really enjoying that. I don't know. I'm trying to focus on the show, but I got to be honest. Your daughter can play the piano. I'm really enjoying that soft music in the background. Craig, can you hear that?
I can't. It's adding some class to the show.
No, it truly is, folks. And we are a law show, so it's very appropriate. And we have a huge show for our listeners today. Mike, you have a lot of different topics to cover. I first want to voice a complaint that I have that has to do with my motor vehicle.
Okay.
I don't know who did this, whether it was OnStar or. I mean, I drive a Chevy, but the female voice that communicates with me in my truck, they changed it, and I'm really upset about that. I've been with this individual now for 3 years, and all of a sudden it's a different voice when you're voice texting somebody using the Bluetooth, whatnot. I was so concerned I called OnStar, and I had to have a conversation with them, and I mean, I'm just saying that's my complaint. I mean, whomever's in charge of that voice when you are driving your motor vehicle and she's helping you communicate on Bluetooth or searching the internet, come on, man. Don't just. It's like I broke up with her. I miss her. I know she's computer generated and she's artificial intelligence. But don't do that to us. I was so used to it. Can you imagine everybody out there waking up one morning, getting your vehicle, you're using hands-free, Mike, Craig, and Wendy if she's listening, and all of a sudden you say, call Mike Nichols. Just to confirm, you'd like to call attorney Mike Nichols. It's like, whoa, what happened to that female voice? I'm just saying. So it threw me off this week. That's all I want to say about that, guys.
Did it change from a different female voice to a different female voice, or did it change from a female voice to a male voice?
No, well, it changed from a very soft friendly female voice to a more deep computer-generated female voice. The original female voice, albeit was computer artificially intelligence generated, but the new one threw me for a loop. I felt like it was her older sister. I'm just going to say that, okay? And now listen, I'm going to be 58. No offense against people who are now older. I'm just saying, I want the old girl back. That's all I want. I want her back. Whoever she is, wherever she's at, get her back.
Either Todd is in love with a bot, or I'm not sure what's going on here, but that's a rant.
Yeah, I mean, but look, you drive around with a Bluetooth, right, Mike?
I do use hands-free. Yeah.
Okay, female voice. Female voice.
No, it's actually an Australian dude.
Come on.
I think you can change that. Can't you change that voice to something different?
Morgan set it up, and I can't. I don't know how to change it.
I didn't know that. I thought it just came with the vehicle. You know, you're stuck with whichever Siri, that Google provides you with. It's through Google.
Maybe you need to take it back to the dealership. Maybe they can reset it for you.
I mean, Morgan doesn't want to be a lawyer, but she could be a whale of a lawyer, because right now we're negotiating this. How much am I going to pay you to change the Siri voice on my phone? And we're not there yet. We are worlds apart. She is a hard bargainer, and she is dug in. And I'm not going to give you the price, but let's just say it's not something I'm willing to pay.
Wow, good for her. She can come work for a Levitt Law Firm any day of the week. And by the way, we're going to be hiring an attorney here soon. We're going to be putting out an ad on Indeed looking for a young attorney or an attorney in general who is willing to relocate or just switch jobs here in the Central Michigan University, Northern Michigan area, Mike. Hey, Mike, why don't you tease the audience? We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to allow you, not allow, because I don't allow you to do anything. You are in charge, my man. But I would like to give you the opportunity, I should say, to talk about these various topics of law that you have. So what do you got for us today?
Many things on the plate. We've got an issue regarding contempt. We've got an issue regarding, the case that we worked on together, Todd.
Yes.
Yeah, a great case.
Love working on cases with you, and Wendy Nichols as well.
Yeah. So if those two things aren't enough, then really you should change the dial or the podcast, whatever that is.
Nice. Craig, what do you say? Go to break, come back, and come back strong with attorney Mike Nichols?
I think that's the plan. We'll be right back on the Todd and Levitt Law Show.
I will believe you if you say it's true. Girl, you know I need you more than any words spoken. I've seen you before, turn and walk away. You say you won't come back, it's just a game in a way. We are hoping, yes, and we're praying.
Welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show, turning it and burning it and churning it with In Excess. This time, one of my all-time favorite Australian rockers, along with Midnight Oil and the guys that sang, Craig and Mike, I come from the land down under.
Men at Work.
The Men at Work, and, right.
There's one other band from Australia who is one of your favorites as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that band, and may she rest in peace, is the Olivia Newton-John. Grease, no joke. Grease, we all grew up with Grease. It came out in 1978. Vinnie Barbarino. I love John Travolta in that movie. And, I mean, who didn't want to be John Travolta winning over, the blonde, blue-eyed beauty from Down Under, Olivia?
Well,
who else would you refer to as an Australian band down
That
there,
would
Craig?
be AC/DC for those about to.
Yeah, I don't know about
AC/DC,
Mike,
yes.
but I like him, but I'm not.
Australian.
I don't play a lot of AC/DC.
No, but they're from Australia, and they're a pretty go-to rock band.
No, I love AC/DC.
Yeah.
Back in
my
black.
Roscommon friends will know that AC/DC, for those about to rock, that was, I think, 6th grade. That
Sounds
was
about
my
right.
jam.
Sounds about right.
I like it. So,
So
Mr.
far, we're not
Nichols,
really talking about the law.
that's why I am deviating and transitioning to the law. You had something on FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. What is that about, Mr. Nichols?
So this week, the Michigan Court of Appeals issued a case, and I think her name is Herstat, and I think I'm right because I put this on Facebook and she didn't correct me. She saw the post, but she filed a lawsuit when the city of Sault Ste. Marie heavily redacted a response to a request that she made under the Freedom of Information Act, and what she was looking for was the policy for the Sault Ste. Marie City Police Department's use of force. And it was kind of when all the 2020 social justice movement stuff was going on. And so she sued because she said, you can't hide all of this. I talked to her lawyer this evening, Friday evening, and he said it was almost nothing there because they redacted, or, in other words, when you see something blacked out, right, in a document, that's redacting.
Sure.
So they sued and they went to the Court of Appeals, and the city cited 3 exemptions to the Freedom of Information Act, and they all related to, first, just trying to make it general here for purposes of discussion. First, it was whether or not it was going to reveal when police officers would be destroyed for riots or something like that. Second, it would divulge operations, police operations. And then third, that it would threaten the safety of police officers. And the Court of Appeal said, not valid. They cited each specific exemption individually. Great opinion, really thorough. You got to have a good attention span to get through it. I mean, I've had to read it 3 times now, but it's just a win for the public.
So, Freedom of Information Act, often, if you are seeking information, Mike, at the public level, the township, city, community, county, state, often you have to fill out a FOIA. We call it a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. You often hear newscasters on different channels talking about, they requested this or that document. And what you are saying is, here's this lady seeking information from Sault Ste. Marie, which is in God's country, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, folks.
Yes.
And they denied her they provided her the information, but highly redacted it. So then she sued.
Right.
And did it go to the circuit court before it got to the Court of Appeals? Correct.
It went to the circuit court first. Judge Lambros, not the
great
Judge
guy.
Lambros you might remember.
Oh man, I love Judge Lambros. I was just up there, and he granted one of my appeals on a license case and granted full privileges to my client. So we gave him a shout out last week on the show, actually.
Right on. He is a good judge, but on this one, obviously there was disagreement, and Mark Dobiash took it to the Court of Appeals on behalf of his client, Miss Hedstat. And man, what a great opinion from the Court of Appeals. God bless.
That's great.
The Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one for the people there. Hey, and by the way, would you like to order another appetizer? Because we got the background music playing and the piano there. And I love it, by the way, Mike.
That's Morgan.
Is that Morgan actually playing?
Yes, that is Morgan playing.
Wow, so Craig, that's outstanding.
It is.
The thing about the Nichols / McClellan family is this: we are all musically inclined. I never really had the patience to really, really learn an instrument, but like we're relatives of the Dorseys, Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey from the big band era. They played with Glenn Miller, and yeah. And so, like, for example, my cousin was a music major at Ohio University. His major was playing the piano. And Morgan has got the same talent, and I made her take lessons. It's a almost every other day battle over whether she has to take the lessons or not, and she tries to con me into not having to take lessons anymore. And so obviously I'm still on top of that debate.
Can she play some Queen in the background for us while we're doing the show? Some Bohemian Rhapsody?
She can do Bohemian Rhapsody. I just don't want to interrupt the lesson because...
Come on, Mike. It's for show business. I'll cover the extra fee. I will cover... Craig and I will cover the extra fee for the extra 20 minutes. The listeners want some Bohemian Rhapsody. But, hey, back to law, because we are a law show, and you are an attorney Mike Nichols, Nichols Law, East Lansing, Michigan, with the lovely Wendy Nichols. Give out your phone number there, Mr. Nichols.
517-432-9000.
Absolutely. All right. What's the next topic on the list of law to talk about on the law show? That was our FOIA discussion. What is next of
There's a crazy story from Wayne County where a lawyer defending a person charged with a crime ended up getting prosecuted herself for a crime by virtue of the judge claiming that she was in contempt of court. And the weird thing about this story is that it's a preliminary examination, and I know the lawyer.
So the lawyer's conducting a preliminary examination?
Yeah.
Like, explain to the public what that is, because a lot of listeners have no idea.
So in a felony case, it's always two phases. The first phase is the probable cause phase, and that's where the prosecutor has to show that there's enough evidence to send the case to trial. It kind of replaced the old grand jury about 150 years ago in Michigan. And so the judge has to find, okay, does it look like the crime that's been charged was committed? And does it look like Todd Levitt committed it? Right? Probable cause. Is there just a little bit of evidence on every single element?
So here you have a lawyer representing a defendant in court in front of a judge, and the lawyer's cross-examining law enforcement, the witnesses, what was taking place.
Here's the thing. Nobody knows what exactly took place that led the judge for the prelim to initiate a contempt proceeding against this lawyer. That was the whole problem. And then he convicted the lawyer of contempt and put her in jail. That's what makes the case so interesting.
Who's the judge?
District Court judge in Wayne County. I forget. I don't think the judge's name is specified in the opinion.
I have a lot of friends that are District Court judges in Wayne County. That's why I'm asking. I'll have to look it up. So what happened? So the judge held the lawyer in contempt? The judge felt the lawyer committed some type of crime? What type of crime would a lawyer commit in advocating on behalf of their client? I would like to know what that was.
And so I don't know who the district court judge was, and I don't know what the judge says she did. It's a female. You're in contempt. Doesn't say what she did or said, whether it was off the record or it clearly was not on the record, right? Because it wasn't part of the transcript. So this lawyer says, you followed the wrong procedure and you were wrong in finding me in contempt. And the circuit court said, yeah, I have no idea what this lawyer supposedly did because nobody made a record about what the allegation was. So without knowing what the allegation is, I can only reverse it. And then who appealed? Somebody, I think it was the judge, the district court judge appealed, and the Court of Appeal said, okay, so there's no double jeopardy. The lawyer is not protected by double jeopardy from going to trial twice. You can have another trial, but if you convict her, she gets credit for the time that she served. She served like 30 days in jail.
What? Come on. You got to tell us. The listeners want to know. There's a lawyer.
I don't know.
How often are you and I in court defending our clients in front of a district court judge? Explain what
that comes up.
Explain what contempt of court is, though, for the listeners. What is contempt of court? And a defendant, an individual, not a lawyer, but the individual can be held in contempt of court. A lawyer can be held in contempt of court. Someone watching, just sitting there in the pews, could also be held in contempt of court.
It's basically you were so disobedient that you have to be, put in jail for it or fined or, whatever.
Okay, quite possibly, maybe the lawyer was disobedient and crossed the line in such a serious regard that the judge had no choice but to hold her in contempt.
That could be.
Lawyers are human. They're human. They do things wrong. Well,
that's the whole point of the opinion is we don't know what the lawyer did. The trial court failed in its obligation to make a record about that person was getting.
Wow. If you're an attorney and you're late for court, and and the judge doesn't know you and or your reputation, and you don't call the court or the court clerk, and your client's waiting for you, the judge can hold you in contempt of court, and you can be fined, folks out there. If your lawyer's late, the judge has the right to hold that lawyer in contempt of court.
Yep.
Am I correct, Mr. Nichols?
Yep, that's right. I've heard it get threatened.
I've seen it
happen. You've seen it?
I've seen it when I worked in when I worked in Oakland County for 12 years. I can't tell you how often I would be sitting there. A lawyer walked in 2 hours late, and the judge says, "We called your case at 9:30. It's now 11:45. I held you in contempt of court. Your client's been sitting here since 8:30. All you had to do is pick up the phone and call. I'm scheduling this for a contempt hearing."
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Well, you could have just called or asked.
We should talk to Judge Danny Bain about this. Judge Farrell's supposed to be coming on the show. Apologies to Judge Josh Farrell.
Man.
He's one of my favorite judges. He's supposed to be coming on the show. I got to get a hold of the judge. Maybe we could do the show. You, myself, Craig, Steve from 98.5 is supposed to be doing the show with Judge Farrell. We got to have him on the show. He's one of my favorite humans. I love that guy.
What I would talk about with
Can I
Judge
say that
Farrell,
as a lawyer about a judge? He's a great judge.
Your nose is brown, but it's fine.
Hey, I'm just calling it like it is.
I would talk with Judge Farrell about baseball. He came to Central on a baseball scholarship.
I did not know that. Here's a question for you.
You sound like Johnny Carson.
I did. I did not know that. Can an individual who is driving around a truck vehicle who has a baseball bat in the vehicle, is that considered carrying a concealed weapon?
We have had this conversation, you and I, for the better part of this week, and I included my good friend, Sergeant Andrew Tobias.
That was about a hatchet. This is about a bat.
Same answer, though. There's a very specific definition in the CCW statute, and a baseball bat could be used as a weapon, but it's a baseball bat, right?
Yeah, it's not a sword, a dagger. It does not meet the definition under the statute of carrying a concealed weapon. What would meet that definition? If you're operating a motor vehicle and you have a weapon that you shouldn't be possessing and transporting, you get pulled over for a speeding ticket, and in the passenger seat, in plain view of the officer at the window, there is a weapon that does fall under the statute, and you can be charged with a felony of carrying a concealed weapon. What would that be?
Well, certainly, yes. A knife that's longer than, I think it's, I can't remember the
3
length, but I think the legislature changed that recently.
Okay.
And obviously a gun. That's what the CCW statute is intended.
A dirk? What about a dirk?
Well, Todd, I think you're going to have to tell us what a dirk is.
Well, how about we take a break, and then when we come back, Todd will tell us what a dirk is, and we can jump into this topic.
Dirk Nowitzki was a great basketball player. Okay, there you go.
We'll be right back.
I will believe you if you say it's true. Girl, you know I need you more than any words spoken. I've seen you before. Turn and walk away. You say you won't come back. It's just a game in a way. We are hoping, yes, and we're praying. This time will be the last time that we will fight like this. This time will be the last time that we will fight like this. Hey!
Welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show, turning it and burning it with In Excess and finding out the real story. What is a dirk?
What is a dirk?
What is a dirk?
Well, Mr. Nichols, attorney at law, would you reset what we were discussing before we went to break?
So we were talking about the CCW statutes and the fact that specific definitions are in the CCW statute in order to tell all of us common people what is and is not illegal.
Right. So the statute, which is 750.227, a person shall not carry a dagger, a dirk, a stiletto, a double-edged non-folding stabbing instrument of any length or any other dangerous weapon except a hunting knife adapted and carried as such, concealed or about his or her person, or whether concealed or otherwise in any vehicle operated or occupied. And then a person shall not carry, obviously, a pistol concealed, similar. So, but we're not getting into all these issues. We were just talking about a baseball bat does not fall under that definition. I mean, can it be considered a dangerous weapon? But it's a baseball bat. Yes, but it doesn't fall under the definition of that statute. And what is a dirk? I mean, is that what you, and I said it was Dirk Nowitzki, the basketball player.
That's probably not what it is.
Yeah.
Just saying.
What the whole point about writing
It's a short
statutes,
dagger is what it is. It was carried by Scottish Highlanders is what a dirk is. Well, it's true. That's what a dirk is.
I'm sure it was.
The whole point of writing laws is to put people on notice of what they can and cannot do, and they have to be clear enough for people to understand. And without that, you can make an ambiguity or a vagueness challenge if you're arrested for and charged with, crime A, B, or C, like carrying a concealed weapon.
Exactly. What and Mr. Nichols, attorney at law, Mike Nichols and Wendy Nichols, Nichols Law Firm, East Lansing, Michigan. Give out your number one more time if somebody wants to hire your firm's services. And what type of law do you guys cover?
First, just for an update, Morgan's piano lesson is done. So if you want me to make an offer for her to play Bohemian Rhapsody for you,
please.
Now's the time. But the number is 517-432-9000.
One more. And what kind of law do you guys practice?
So criminal defense, personal injury, divorce, and if it's special handling, interesting litigation, I'd like to think I'm a litigator.
What else is on the list of the law to talk about here on the show of all shows there, Mr. Nichols?
I think we covered it. What else is there to talk about other than
you had something MSU? What
practice.
happened? Didn't you want to talk about MSU?
Well,
our hearts and thoughts go out to the victims and their families and all those students and faculty and just people who are part of the MSU nation there.
In all seriousness, it was a crazy night, and I have been so impressed with everybody who is part of the MSU community. Really the world. I've had so many texts and emails from people from literally all over the world checking in, and it's just really been great. And I think people should know when you reach out to someone when something traumatic happens, that's just the right thing to do.
You and I were actually texting in real time when it was happening, and you had to go, and I just turned the TV on. But I
was supposed to have court the next day, and not just a small thing, a jury selection in East Lansing. And until you're told it's adjourned, it's canceled, whatever, it's on. So it was 8:30 or so, and I was, trying to get myself calmed down and ready for bed, and then my phone starts blowing up, and I didn't have a problem with that because I like it when people reach out to me and they care, but I kept thinking to myself, I got to try to get some rest, I got to get some sleep, I have an obligation tomorrow, and then I think it was 1 a.m., literally, I got an email from the court staff in East Lansing that our jury selection was off for that Tuesday. So that, then I turned to the anxiety of, okay, what do I have to do today to help everybody who I know and care about, and, including my family and my friends. and employees.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your office is located right to the north end of MSU right there.
Yeah, I'm a mile.
It's interesting because I'm located literally my office is on property owned by Central Michigan University, just to the south end of Mount Pleasant, Michigan.
Yeah.
And your office is just due to the north. And by the way, not to change the subject, but I'm about to, no disrespect to what took place. Can we get Morgan back to play a little bit more piano? My mood of the whole show just changed, right, Craig? Do you agree on this right now?
I totally agree. I wish you was.
Come on, Mike. Just whatever it costs, just hop back on. I'll pay the fee. I'll pay the fee.
Hey, can you play one more tune?
No.
Come on, Morgan, please.
I'm not good though.
I'm sorry. What?
I'm not good, so I can't.
You're fantastic.
Not good,
Come on, Morgan. The entire planet Earth is waiting. The show goes out all over planet Earth. That was fantastic. I mean, you're amazing. Truly, right, Craig? What do you think?
She was great. I think, Mike, pay her the money. Come on, man. Give it up.
Come on, Mike.
Todd,
what?
You raised a daughter, right?
Yeah, 3 of them.
I'm getting that look that you would get at 13 that says...
Yeah, let it go, Mike. Let it go.
Okay.
Let it go. Yeah, Craig knows that look too, right, Craig?
Oh, I know that look.
So, Mike, what's happening with Wendy? And is Wendy around to come on the show to talk about anything interesting in regards to the law?
So it's Friday night at 8 o'clock, and Wendy is watching a particular show that she is streaming right now. It's called You.
Yep.
It's pretty creepy.
Yeah, I saw the first episode. I got too many shows I'm streaming and watching right now, from Mayor of Kingstown to Tulsa King, Yellowstone, waiting for the Mandalorian to come out March 1st.
Yep,
This Is Us. Yeah, I think I'm going to rewatch Better Call Saul. I'm not sure.
That was a fun one.
Yep.
How come nobody goes on social media to talk about books? Like, here's a book that I'm reading.
What's a book?
Because nobody reads books anymore.
What's a book? Are you talking about the book I never returned to the library when I was 12 years old? Are you talking about that book?
So, for example, I'm reading John Lennon's The Last Days of John Lennon by James Patterson.
Okay.
And he uses that that style of writing where it's look back and then present and then look back and then present. So he goes back to, it's in between Mark David Chapman's first few days of December up to December 8th, 1980, when he shot John. And it keeps looking back between those days and the early days of the Beatles. It's pretty cool, pretty good history. It's fun.
Nice. What are you reading, Craig?
I'm reading the back of my cereal box, Kick Cereal. It's kid tested, mother approved, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm reading People Magazine and The Globe right now. That's where I get my information, folks. People Magazine and The Globe. Come on.
Isn't it the sexiest person alive episode or mag?
I have no idea. I'm just using this for entertainment purposes, Craig. Now you put me on a spot. I'm still upset over the voice in my truck changing from that one female to the other female, and now you got to bring that up. Not only does Morgan stop playing, you're talking about that. Mike's talking about reading a book, and I'm still stressed out over the voice in my truck changing from, the Sirius XM. I don't know. It's Google. I think it's Google who changed it, right? Is that who changes it, Mike?
Or OnStar? No, I think that's...
No, it's not OnStar. When you voice text using a Bluetooth, you hit the button on your truck. Call Mike Nichols. Just to confirm, you would like to call Mike Nichols. That voice changed in my truck after 3 years this week, and it threw me off, okay?
Better the voices in the truck than the voices in your head. That's all I'm going to say.
I used to have the typical Siri voice, and then Morgan changed it to... No, actually, not an Australian dude, an Irish dude. She changed it to an Australian dude for her mom, because her mom wanted an Australian accent. I think that's so sexy. I think that's how that conversation went. And then I get a Nick.
And then you get in and you get Conor McGregor.
Problem number 12.
What you got going on in the world of law? I had about 30 driver license hearings over the last 4 weeks. A number of OWI cases as well. but a ton of state of Michigan cases, Mike.
Well, something that's two things that are fun for me is, a lot of things that are fun for me, but sort of what pops out, the appeal that I'm doing for the motion to dismiss that you won.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have a really bright law clerk who's excited to help me on that file. Really, really great kid. He plays for MSU's football team. And then another fun case I've got going on. Oh man, I got a lot of fun stuff. But so I'm gonna become a special assistant attorney general. Breaking news. And represent the Department of Health and Human Services in contempt proceedings because judges seem like they're starting to hold the Center for Forensic Psychiatry in contempt because they don't like how long it's taking for a person who's been declared incompetent to stand trial but can be returned to competency. And so judges are like, maybe I can speed this up by just holding somebody in contempt.
There you go with that contempt word again. I mean, that's a serious thing to hold somebody in contempt. So you are congratulations. You are now a special assistant attorney general representing the Department of Health and Human Services in the state of Michigan.
Well, I have to pass the background check first, Todd, and all of the listeners in Roscommon will know that may not be so easy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't call attorney Todd Levitt because Mike Nichols is one of my closest friends, and we spent a lot of time together back in college days. We didn't go to the same college, but the Nick and I hung out. I was a SIG-Ep, and Mike was just having fun, so...
Is this the beginning of you possibly getting into public office there, Mr. Nichols? Or?
Yeah, are you getting a judicial appointment down the road there, Mr. Nichols? Because you would be a fine judge.
I mean, I feel like I would do a good job, but I don't want to have to go out to dinner and have people count my drinks, right? I mean, I just don't want to...
What, are you saying judges drink? Is that what you're implying?
Plead the fifth.
What were we talking about? Contempt?
Exactly, contempt. There you go.
So yeah, man, lots of good stuff going on, and I love the appeal that we're doing to defend your properly decided motion to dismiss. You did such a great job on that case. You should tell people what that case was about, Todd.
Yeah, we talked about it. We did a whole show on it, where it's law. It's very clear that from a basic traffic stop. That stop cannot be extended unless other circumstances are present. Long story short, we filed a motion, a brief, argued the case, judge ruled on our behalf, and the prosecutor filed what, Mike? An appeal.
An appeal.
Yeah.
A claim of appeal.
Claim of appeal.
First, you emailed me and said, hey, we got their claim of appeal today. And I said, wait, they don't have a claim of appeal. It was a pretrial. Oh, wait, the judge dismissed the case. So they do have a claim of appeal because... if a judge dismisses a case, that's a final order that gives the prosecutor the right to go to the circuit court and appeal.
Yeah, but again, I don't handle appeals. I do driver license appeals on a regular basis if I feel it's justified. But in regards to something under the penal code, no one better in the state of Michigan than Attorney Mike Nichols, folks. Call his office, and so... my client hired your services to counter the prosecutor's appeal.
Yep, and I think it will stand. I don't want to...
I do too. It's good law. It's great law.
Oh, and the judge did a very thorough opinion as to why...
and we're being respectful for not naming the judge, the client, the court. We're just talking in general terms.
Or the prosecutor.
Or the prosecutor, who did a great job. I mean, look, he was just doing his job. Much respect to the prosecutor.
Mm-hmm. That's a good prosecutor's office.
It's a great prosecutor's office.
Not naming names because we're on the classy side.
Nothing but love for the elected prosecutor and the staff all the way down. But I think the law is solid. The opinion was solid. And, they're prosecutors, so they appeal. Just like people, like defendants appeal, prosecutors have a right to appeal as well.
Yep.
I know who's going to win, though.
I feel comfortable with our position.
I do too. Hey, Craigie Poo, I think we have to go to break. Is that why your hands are flailing over there like a box of Lucky Charms?
That is correct, Toddy Poo. We will take a break on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. We'll be right back to wrap the show up next.
I will believe you if you say it's true. Girl, you know I need you more than any word spoken. I've seen you before. Turn and walk away. You say you won't come back. It's just a game in a way. We are hoping, yes, and we're praying.
Welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show, broadcasting and podcasting back in the mothership. Craig Russell and attorney at law, Mike the Nick Nichols, East Lansing, Michigan, 517. What's the rest of the digits, Mr. Nick?
517-432-9000.
That's right. My number at the office is 989-772-6000. We refer a lot of cases, Craig, to Mike and Wendy Nichols down there.
I'm sure you
do.
do.
No, we do.
I'm sure
we
you do. No, I'm sure you do.
Oh, yeah.
Because you want to get them the best possible outcome for their case if you can't help them. I
got a good buddy of mine, Ryan Slepp, out of Midland, and Ryan is a former prosecutor, a very close friend of mine. Mike Juarez. I love Mike Juarez up in West Branch, along with Trey Ayers. You know those guys up there, Mr. Nick?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I thought, oh, yeah, I know those guys.
You sound so disappointed, Todd.
Well, the thing is, Trey is originally from the East Coast, and Mike Juarez, who's a great lawyer with his wife, he's originally from the West Coast.
West Coast?
West Coast. But no, much love to Mike and Trey Ayers up there, and the entire staff at Roscommon Courthouse. So, Mike, what's going on this weekend? What you got going on? How about you, Craig? Same question.
Well, I'll let Mike answer it first. What do you got going on this weekend, Mike?
So, as we speak, we'll be watching volleyball in Grand Rapids. That's why I said I'll be staying with Brian. And I'm looking forward to it. Both the volleyball, of course, and catching up with my man, Brian.
Nice.
Right on.
Craig, what about you?
Did we even talk about that on the show, Mike? That you're going to be hanging out with Wood TV8's Brian Sterling because you guys were
I thank you for recycling that because I was thinking I didn't really back reference that, but
yeah, I don't think we talked
that's
about
right.
that. But.
Yeah, we met in college. Actually, no. He was working for the Great Lakes Media Group, and I was working at WWSJ in St. John's, and we just got together and maybe had a beer or three. As Tim Stout would say, good evening, everybody. And then the rest is history. We became best friends.
Wow, there you go. Well, that's awesome. I've got some exhibition baseball. Baseball season kicks off this weekend with the grapefruit and cactus league. So I got some baseball to watch, and going to try and stay warm. So it's going to be cold.
I have something for those Seinfeld fans out there. So speaking of baseball, I'm watching Seinfeld because I'm trying to get ready for Curb Your Enthusiasm to drop the next season.
Can't wait.
I'm in that range where there's a lot of George Steinbrenner appearances.
Okay.
And remember, the voice of Steinbrenner was Larry David.
Yeah.
And you watch it and you listen to it and you know that's Larry. It just cracks you up. It is great.
I never knew that till now.
Really?
You didn't know that?
Never knew that. No, I had no idea.
Yeah, Larry David was the voice of Steinbrenner during the Seinfeld run. Yeah, it
That's
was
epic.
hilarious.
Well, don't you guys want to know what I'm doing this weekend? I mean, hello.
What are you doing?
Nope,
this
don't
weekend?
care.
I'm actually going to be watching the entire repertoire of Gilligan's Island episodes to determine if there was a way to get those guys off the island, because as a kid watching Gilligan's Island, I just never understood why they never got off that island.
Yeah,
So
there were about 30 episodes they could have gotten off the island.
yeah, so that, because they always had guests arrive on the island. Now that I'm, the age I am, I have to rewatch the show. So that's it. But anyhow, wow.
Do you guys hear
Wow.
Morgan? You hear Morgan getting ice?
I'm sorry for asking her to play the piano, Morgan. Take
Morgan.
it easy on your parents there.
We can hear you getting the ice.
Wow.
It sounded
You're
like you
on-
opened up
you're
the
on
door
the
to a
podcast.
restaurant or something.
But hey, listen, Mike. Once again, it's always awesome and such a pleasure to have you on the show. You are from mid-northern Michigan, grew up in Higgins Lake, and so we so much appreciate you. And again, one more time, if somebody out there needs legal representation, how can they get a hold of you and your wife, who's also an attorney there at Nichols Law Firm?
Well, first, Todd, there's a psychological term for people like you who are trying to find a way off Gilligan's Island, and it's called Rubik's Cube sitcom Gilligan's Island.
Nice.
But secondly, the number is 517-432-9000.
Nice. And once again, Mike, thank you so much for being on the show. Always appreciate you.
Yay.
Definitely. And Craig, I don't have to say it. The water's wet, the sky is blue, and all the listeners love you, Craig.
Or whatever, Todd.
So, Mike, we'll see you back in the mothership in a couple of weeks. And, everybody have a great weekend. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. What comes next, Mr. Nichols?
What comes next?
Yeah.
Well, so the second week of Lent.
Oh, make it a safe time.
I already said that. Take us out with a little NXS. There you go.
We are hoping, yeah, and we're praying that this time will be the last time that we will fight like this. This time will be the last time.
The Todd L. Levitt Law Show, brought to you by Chad Malley Well Drilling of Rosebush, Clark Modular Homes of Mount Pleasant, Ace of Diamonds of Mount Pleasant, Clear Vision Windows, Siding, and Roofing, now booking in Central and Northern Michigan, Rusty Gold Antiques in Everett, and attorney Todd L. Levitt.
Opinions expressed on this radio program do not necessarily reflect the views of this radio station.